Welcome to Akhand Sutra, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss about Brahmank, the first stage of creation. One of the pictures which I talked about, the universe space, is pi 22 by 7 as Akhand Brahmand. Same thing I have shown as a Shivlingam, which also represents 22 by 7 as the first divine design of nature in mathematics is concerned. Third, I am talking about the way the mathematician of the world has given the value of pi as a 3.1415926 etc., which is infinite number of digits, which is defective, defective and defective, and the impeccable wisdom is 22 by 7 is equal to 3.142857 only. For that matter, this revelation was given to me by my Antaratma in 1995 itself, and from that picture we'll move on to the next stage. Second thing, this is a Ganit Vidya, and in this I'm going to have written about DIVYANK on top, that is the divine mathematics as such. Now this is a picture which I've completed from inner consciousness based on my experience. I call it Akhand. Impeccable wisdom is there in this place. All the divine mathematics is there in this particular picture. Now, to start from the same picture I have shown you, to show you this particular picture is the background of Akhand itself, outer motion part, and the impeccable wisdom in this is that is orbit of 22 by 21. In other words, this is how the first stage of creation of Lord Brahma starts. I think we have come to the stage from Brahman to first stage of creation as Brahmank. Now let's discuss what divine mathematics as it is step by step, so that all the clarity of science is known to everyone without any confusion. Now, as far as divine mathematics is concerned, I am making it very clear. If you want to understand the universe, you got to know mathematics. Language of arts is mathematics. There is no doubt. Clarity can come only with mathematics. Language of science is mathematics. There is no doubt. Language of divine nature is mathematics. There is no doubt. And divine mathematics is all everything in such. Every other explanation is defective. So, message which I am trying to give you, the divine mathematics should be known if we want to understand nature completely within ourselves, within outside, and be a perfect human being and give the knowledge to the world. It has to be in divine mathematics only. Now, I am coming back to my original statement. Whenever in doubt, I watch cosmos, the universe. Why do I do? I see a uniform, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, perfect divine design of nature. And I say divine nature is the one which has taught me everything from beginning till today. I have learned only from nature, external as well as internal. And that is what has taught me as Aham Brahmasmi, I am like a divinity, and everything is there, all the divine mathematics there, and this is what is being done by everyone to understand universe consciousness, so that we can have a perfect education for everybody. Second thing, this also I have shown that human beings are perfect, solar system Brahman is perfect, and so is spiral galaxy, but all are made of 10 parts, and that is something which is coming out very clearly. Second, the greatest verse which I have always been of the opinion is Tat Tvamasi. It is not that I am like God, and it is from Chandogya Upanishad, and actually the meaning of Tat is mean everything of nature which is divine nature is Tat. That is Tat Savitur Varenyam. Even Gayatri Mantra in Rigved starts with Tat only. Tat means divine nature. Tvam means everything. Achi is identical. That means everything in the universe is identical. So that's where we should understand there is a divine mathematics. If everything is perfect, there should be divine mathematics. What is the divine mathematics? The idea lies in this particular statement. And I have picked it up from there and gone on to explore as Divyank step by step in 2015. Now in the process of finding Divyank, I have also found we start in divine mathematics from Fibonacci sequence, which is world knows from year 1202 given by Leonardi. But what is important in this particular picture, you can see it all starts on 0. Then comes 1. 0 and 1 is binary system which is used for computers even today for impeccable wisdom, there is no doubt about it. And how it further goes on is how the divine mathematics comes up. Now comes the question of second in the line to understand is the golden ratio. In golden ratio, the two things have been given from Fibonacci sequence. They are given it is 1.618 and man-made concept has given as 1.6180339887 etc. infinite number. 1.61 is too simple and other one is too complicated. Mathematics should be precise and concise. Science should be definite. But too small, too big does not mean much. So we should have a minimum approximate decimal value of golden ratio. That's the question which I have gone on further to improve upon. To go further, I have shown the same picture of universal consciousness. Spiral galaxy has a length and breadth you can see in this picture, and in golden ratio they try to figure it out that a square plus b square is equivalent to c square. There is no doubt about it. But what is the exact value of golden ratio? I have calculated with this as say 100 multiplied by 161.8034 is the perfect value, nothing less, nothing more. In other words, golden ratio should have been 1.618034 only, nothing less, nothing more. That's it. So we are coming very close to perfection. Next, how I have developed that, I have shown this particular making a DIVYANK rectangle that I started 100 into 100 as a square, then divided into rectangular, then Pythagoras theorem, and how I found is there in one of the videos. This is just a reflection of that. The next one I talked about, the infinity is the number which we should know, and man who knew infinity, picture is there, but all the mathematicians are talking about infinite number of digits at infinity, which is not true. But infinity number according to me and according to Divyank, according to divine nature, is 61.034 only, nothing less, nothing more. Now this particular 10th stage inverse Divyank has shown you start with 100 into 100 square and then semicircle of 100, then go on reducing by 61.8034. Only 10 times you can bring it down to 1. More than 10 times you cannot divide. When you go to 11th, it is less than 1. That shows that infinite Divyank Rekvish is actually the divine constant, which is infinity by and large. Now the particular thing I have shown, inverse infinity constant 61, 100 divided by that, how I have gone and shown the picture is there. Same thing in infinity constant, which is a 100. If you go on adding 100 plus 61.80, then again multiplied by 61.80, the number go on in the same constant. It can go on and they will not merge, converge and diverge at any stage. This is exactly the ratio which is perfect, not the one which Ramanujan talked about is up to 100 or 200 point. Beyond that it fails. Infinity is equivalent to minus 1 by 12 is not true. It does not solve that because it is that it cannot be considered constant throughout. So that is one point which is very clear. Having done that, having come this divine mathematics to infinity number, and from 0 to infinity is described, and we have not got pi and other thing. Now going to the stage of creation as it comes up. Now the man-made mathematics, which has given the value of 1 plus square of 5 divided by 2 is 1, which is defective. Fibonacci sequence is nature's gross presentation, is not to the minute level. It can give you this. Now how the nature is, now I am talking about that. Nature did not use that man-made formula, it used a different formula, and the first formula which came to play is Brahmank, the first stage of creation. In first stage of creation, in Chandogya Upanishad says very clearly, chapter 2, number 10, there are 21 stages in the solar system, very clear. Every solar system is made of 21 parts, and 20 parts can be covered when 21 steps to cover the solar system. Very special, and I make it very clear. Earth is made of 7 parts, Antariksh is made of 7 parts, and there are 7 heavens. Those are the 21 parts which explain the concept very clearly. These are the 21 parts of the solar system. Then Chandogya Upanishad says the 22nd step, we can conquer the solar system and go beyond. This is Satchitanand, the eternal state of bliss. That means it's creating a new blissfulness within us. We have got the sun and other thing. I think that is very thing right. There is a divine mathematics I want. And this is moksha, this is a freedom from constraints and restraints of life. I think that was the wisdom. And this is a prime objective, everybody to know itself. And to know the self, it should know himself and know the Brahman. And that's it. And that can be done understanding sun, solar system, Aditi, and the self is as such, is beautifully given in Chandogya. That is where I am trying to show Ved, Upanishad and Sanskrit scriptures are divine mathematics. One by one they have revealed, and I am trying to correct them, explain them, then go on to give the world Divyank for the first time in the history of mankind since 2015. Now come to the hidden. This particular picture of Lord Brahma is very clear. I have told in the beginning there are 3 plus 1 head which actually represent 22 by 7 is again pi structure itself. In this particular picture I say each head is made of 7 parts, agree. But Brahmank is 1/3 of Lord Brahma's face because he is the one who created. But he created as 1/3 of the value as his value in divine mathematics. It is not 22 by 7 which was done, it is 22 by 21, and that is what I showed in the beginning, that outer orbit of the solar system and human body is made of 22 by 21 only. This is what 21 are the equal parts of the cells, and when they divide they become 22 parts, and that is what I am trying to show now, how divine mathematics created it. Now comes the story, another story in Chandogya Upanishad. First one as a statement about 21 and 22. There is another story in Chandogya Upanishad where Prajapati, the Lord Brahma, gives a discussion and talks about self, which is free from evil and everything, and that is what knowing which everything else is known. This information, the discourse, is being learned by Indra and Virochan, who are the king of gods and king of demons, very clearly. They were impressed and they wanted to learn more about the self, knowing which they would know themselves perfectly, and they would have Satchitanand 24/7. And with that they approached Lord Brahma to teach them how to experience the oneness within that. And in that process, Prajapati asked them to stay in his ashram for 32 years first. Please remember, it is 32 years. Now the first phase of 32 years actually in my understanding is represent one head of Brahma. There are 7 parts. That means Jagrit Avastha or waking consciousness. In the waking consciousness, you experience the beauty of the body of the self. You know the body structure, functions, everything. You can make it healthy, wealthy, wise and happy. You can be rich, you can be popular, you can be like a king, as simple as that. And this is Virochan's picture or any king's picture, or every human being should have a concentration on the perfect physical human body, and make it perfectly, and that is waking consciousness, which was achieved by both of them in 32 years in Lord Brahma's or Prajapati's ashram. Second stage was Virochan went and taught the same thing to everybody, and even today everybody is falling only for that particular statement of waking consciousness. 32 years and everybody is doing that, nobody is going beyond that. But Indra was very happy when he left, but on the way he found that there is a mistake in this particular concept. Body can be broken, damaged, and things like that. There cannot be Satchitanand, there should be more than that. So he came back. Then he was asked to stay for another 32 years. And he was there, and at the end of 32 years, he was talked about a dreaming consciousness. Waking consciousness, I can understand, it can be destroyed. But in Swapna Avastha, dream, whatever is happening cannot be destroyed. It is there as such. So it's definitely better. He is happier and he leaves that place. Yes, dream is better than waking consciousness. 32 plus 32, 64 years is done very, very well. Then come to the third stage. He comes of another 32 years. He was asked to stay. Now you have seen the waking consciousness, you have seen the same beauty in dream consciousness, and now in third stage of 32 years, you are going to see 7 parts of the dream consciousness, and in during that particular stage, you will find you go into deep sleep. When you go into deep sleep, you will not experience any pain at all. When you get up from the deep sleep, you will feel as perfect as ever, and you say, wow, what a wonderful happiness is it. And this is experience of everybody, including me. So that is the third stage. With that, he left the place again. But after going out, he says, waking state is defective, dream is better, deep sleep results are better. But at the end of this 32 plus 32 plus 32 years are 21 stages. I am still in the cycle of birth, death and rebirth, and I am still not aware how exactly I got the blissfulness as such. So he is in doubt, so he comes back again to Prajapati. He says, no, there is a deficiency. Then Prajapati says, you stay with me only for 5 years. He did not stay for 32 years. And at the end of 5 years, he talks to him about Turiya stage, which is supreme state. That means you are waking consciousness, you have dream consciousness, you have deep sleep, all the benefits of three, you represent same thing in a waking consciousness, you are controlled. You and your Antaratma is one. That is Adi Prashak. That would you say Aham Brahmasmi. Me and my Atma are one. I am like universal, and that is where whole concept of 22 by 21 is very, very clear in that. Now, in both the statements of Chandogya Upanishad, solar system is made of 21 parts. To get relief, you need 22 parts. In the human body also, you have a 21 parts, and that the 22nd part is going to give. This is where the result of inner consciousness, Aham Brahmasmi, is there. Once you reach the Aham Brahmasmi stage, you are very clear, and that is Antaratma, and that is helium 4 which I am talking about. Now things are becoming very precise. How beautiful these Upanishads are talking about mathematics to make us, and this is something which I had experienced ever since in my childhood. And I specifically experienced that movement of Kundalini within me in 1995, which was accidental initiation without me knowing ABC of that. I think that was the awakening, and that is where this 22 by 21 I experienced for the first time in 1991 itself. I think that is the first stage, because I had already experienced me and my Antaratma, Aham Brahmasmi as such. No wonder 40 years of my first thing, I followed my Antaratma and Mata Vaishno Devi, results of phenomenal you can see in complete CV of mine, or biodata or profile as such. Now I am just giving the implicit impeccable. First 32 is 7 parts, second is 32 is 7 parts, third is 7 parts, last 5 is 1. And that's how it is. Concept of 22, any human being who can experience this 22 by 21 stage within the body can experience the universal consciousness beginning part very clearly, and that is required for other person to know divine mathematics. Unless until you experience 22 by 21 yourself, and that's it. And that's exactly what I've shown in the symbol of Akhand. And Akhand was made in 1995 itself and published in 2002. With that information was very clear as the first step, crystal clear, that first stage of creation is 22 by 21. Now you're going to see some of the examples of that from mathematics. Now scientific exploration from sun to Surya, I have talked about it. Fibonacci start from 0, then go on, then golden ratio, pi, etc., and then to Brahmank. Then it's going to go to DIVYANK as we move on. Now, as I told you, Shunya is 0, dot from which everything comes. Understanding Aditya or hydrogen is very important for everybody. So that way, information is again from Chandogya Upanishad. This is the third chapter. In third chapter, it says, sun is the one you should observe, and if you understand sun completely, you are enlightened person, because everything sun represents the universal which human beings are quite capable of doing, and I have done only that since my childhood, like Maharishi Yajnavalkya, whose teacher was Surya, and so is my teacher Surya. And Surya and everything else, I have observed how the movement, this is like divine mathematics I have seen with my own eyes. I have seen how beautiful are the trees, how beautiful are the clouds, how beautiful are the flowers, how beautiful are the seeds, how beautiful is the entire universe. There is no doubt about it. And that awareness has given me, if all these things are perfection, then there should be divine mathematics. And I think that is it. Second thing I see, science has made it very clear. Sun goes around itself for 22 years. Again, now this is something very modern, interesting. North Pole starts from 0 and takes 11 years to come to 0 level, and South Pole to North Pole takes another 11 years. That's such a beautiful divine mathematics. And this is what I said, descending period is 11 years, ascending is 11 years, solar calendar is 365 days, 0.25 days, lunar calendar is 354. There is a difference of 11 years. The difference in the solar system and lunar system is 11 years. I have made it clear. And once this concept is understood, you see the divine mathematics in every object of the universe. Oh, this is what Shunya is. And Shunya has got 22 by 21 within. Involution is 21 part. Evolution is 22 parts. 21, 22, involution and evolution itself is very clear. Every object which I observed when it's going around, it has the orbital structure, and that is orbital structure I see in all the inert matter. And once that modern science, inert matter is understood, only then you know how beautiful is the work by the modern scientists showing the spirituality from Ved, Upanishad and Sanskrit scriptures is so clearly. That way the science and spirituality has come together to show the divine mathematics. I think that part of the scientists who have done that kind of work are phenomenal. But when it comes to the giving mathematical designs, they have failed miserably. Same thing applied in physics is defective, chemistry is defective, medical science is defective. I am going to rectify that part when it comes to divine mathematics in math, physics, chemistry and medical sciences. Now come to the plant kingdom cell. Each cell has got of 3 parts. Under the compound micro, so you can see the cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus, and all the 3 of them have made of 7 parts itself. So 22 by 21 is very clear in plant kingdom itself. And I am talking about plant kingdom as such is only 21 parts, not 22 parts. When I got to the human cell, I see the design of 22 by 21. I don't see in plant kingdom, but here I see. Plant kingdom does not go through the flowers as such going through a conjunction, but human cells, there is a conjunction of the male and female. Sperm and ovum get together to form zygote, and that I am going to explain. There is a difference between plant cell to animal cell in understanding the first stage of creation. Now come to the question of 21 part to start with, and then stage of 22 by 21. As I have written very clearly, under the compound you can see only three parts. That means there is a cell membrane, there is cytoplasm, and there is a nucleus. But when you see under the electron microscope, you see cell membrane is made of 7 parts, cytoplasm is made of 7 parts, and nucleus is made of 7 parts. So 7 plus 7 plus 7 is 21. But there is one part which a third picture I have shown is very, very clear. And what is that? It is centrosome. Centrosomes are two centrioles stood together in that part as one part in the cell. That means in the cell there is one part which is made of two parts, and you can see the picture very clearly. And this is the part which is going to break during new creation of the cell itself within the human body. Now I am not talking of cells of procreation. I am talking of the cells as such which can procreate perfectly without sexual reproduction, and centrosome becomes two centrioles and 21 parts become 22 parts, and that's where each mother cell becomes a daughter cell and go on further. I think that is divine mathematics. That is the Brahmank which I am talking about. Now it's very clear what I have talked about Brahmank as 22 by 21 based on what is in Vedas, Upanishads and others, and then modern science with the observation which modern science has given. Now this is spiritual science which I want the world to understand, so that if you have uniform knowledge for every student throughout the world, there will not be misunderstanding at all. Unfortunately, this kind of information is not available to every student. School, college, university, even to the best of my knowledge, even the best of students in the world are not aware of this precision because they don't understand this as an integral part. And I want them to understand this as a divine mathematics so that every child understands how the nature has worked, how they can become perfect as nature. Only then the world is going to have a peace as such. Now I'm going to show you another beautiful thing in 22 by 21 part. I've shown you the skull, which is the head to process brain, which is the most evolved brain in the universe. And in the bones of the head and face I'm going to show. Head has got 8 bones and face has got 14 bones. And then 13 are fixed, 8 are fixed, 21 bones are fixed, and the 22nd bone, which is mandible, is free. And that is the one which gives you the work to express yourself. So how beautiful. There are 22 bones, out of which 21 are fixed, and the 22nd is expected to give you an expression, understanding as such. I think this amazing design of 22 by 21 in the human brain itself. Now down the picture you can see brain evolves, and so does these 22 bones. They go on increasing up to 21, 22 years. After that, the suture you are seeing, they start closing. And even from forensic point of view, to find whether person is less than 22 or more than 22 is defined by the closure of that. I think this is again an amazing science, an observation which are closing to me to bring it that 22 by 21 is the first stage of creation, and that's it I want everybody to know, and that is what I call Brahmank. That is exactly 1/3 of the pie. 22 by 7 divided by 1/3 is equal to 20 by 21, and both are connected with Brahma as the creator outside and Brahma as creator inside. Now I would like to show you two more pictures. I am very clear to see India had given the word symbols by and large. Yantra Vidya, Mantra Vidya, Tantra Vidya, and I want to see the fourth concept which has not been seen by anybody else as the Ganit Vidya. In this particular picture, in the center you have 43 triangles, and incidentally 22 are going up and 22 are coming down. You can see going up and coming is again 21 and 22. In this particular thing, I want to make one thing very clear, is a yellow triangle in the center. You can call it going up or going down as a movement as such. And once that is there, then you understand how divine math. But now I'm going to show you another picture. Now Sri Chakra Yantra is, my opinion, done by India. Perfect work. It's an impeccable wisdom. And from there I have learned the Vastu Shastra, how to make a beautiful house. Incidentally, last 3 houses of mine which I built are based only on Sri Chakra Vastu Purusha as such. And I can tell you, very moment I made my first house in 1997, after that never had to borrow even 1 paisa from anyone as a loan on my head. And today I can call myself richest because of Vastu Shastra, first house in 97, all my loan things came to zero. It started earning by itself and is very auspicious. And in that picture you can see the fourth. General square is the first square, is the thing which I take very clearly. This is starting point of earth element. Then second circle has got 16, which is 4 into 4, is again what Vishuddhi is all about. And that is also the vowel movements which mandible and throat help us to express it out, is there in this particular thing. Third circle has 8, which incidentally are the 8 nerves, pair of nerves in the throat area, which show that 4, 8 and 16 it revolves around earth element. 1 is a square, second is a circle, and then 4 times, and that's how it goes on. And once that is understood, you understand the whole science beautifully. But there is the triangle. Now I'm talking about the triangle. Then you have a blue triangle, 7 plus 7, 14, is again a number, 7 plus 7 and 14 years, and even the prison is given only for 14 years, not more than that. This is where beautiful science of law itself is there. Then rectangles are 5 plus 1, that shows that 10, that is 10 stages of development. Black triangles are also 10, that means 10 stages of development. Then green are only 3 plus 5. When you say 3 and 5, you come to very close to think this is DIVYANK ratio, or the Fibonacci sequence. 3 plus 5 is equivalent to 8, which I have already explained through another symbol made by Maharishi Yajnavalkya 5000 years ago, where the 13 was actually I have showed is equivalent to 5 plus 8 is the 13. The central yellow is 1, and that is where it can be involution and evolution. When evolving, it added to as 22. When it's coming down, is that way. But total triangles are only 43. I am making it very clear. They are only 43. Up triangle if you get 21, and down triangle 22. Take it each way. So they have to be a ratio of 20 to 20, and I think that is very clear in divine mathematics, a beauty of Brahmank. And once this is understood, I can tell you, you have learned the first art of creation, whether in the universe, within the human body, or things you are going to see. So having understood Brahmank, the first stage of creation as such, starting from Shivling, which is 22 by 7, pi, to 1/3 to Brahmas, to this level, I think is very clear. Next, we are going to go on to move to understand Das Vidya, or Dasam, or Dash, or Das Avatar, or Vishnu's Avatar as a 10th stage we are going to see in the very next stage. First stage is 20 to 21 of Divyank is understood. Once this is understood, is the beginning of the divine design. That's it. And this is a picture. I am not going to talk much. I think enough for this, because let's understand the detail perfectly. because this is the impeccable wisdom for every child, every student, every researcher, every expert, every professional, every author has to understood. And I want everybody to understand uniform knowledge, not be confused in defective knowledge. And whatever effort I'm taking is I'm primarily doing for myself, because I want to see the beauty myself. And that is, I'm sharing it world for all those people who are there. And I know it's very high, but the people who believe me that this is what is required, they'll become enlightened. The next generation will have all the answers, not the one which the world is having today. Mathematics is defective, physics is defective, chemistry is defective, medical science is defective. I've gone again and again. I'm not a democrat, I'm not a diplomat, I'm an autocrat. We need to have a perfection. There is no compromise for anything. I don't have to please anybody with imperfection, untruth otherwise, and that's it. And having done that, we move on to the next as the next one. Thank you very